The next one, did you guys do like a heel raise or calf raises?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's do that one next. So have your foot, and this is what it's doing. Okay, so where would each of the spots be? The resistance, force, and axis.
Okay, so axis is your tibial-tarsal.
No, actually. Because in this case, is that what you have written down?
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm being consistent.
Well, no, yeah, for my axis, I put the ankle tibial-tarsal.
What class lever system did you put?
Second.
Okay, so in order for it to be second, it has to go axis, resistance, then force, right?
Yes.
So can I look at your picture and just see
Oh,
what
I think I just
labeled?
mixed them up. I just,
Oh, okay.
metatarsal, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah. So because the point where you're actually like moving, because your ankle does move, but with the force that's being applied and everything, you're moving at this joint here.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay. So that's your axis. Where would your force be?
So my force is coming down on my body, from my body.
Good. So it's where your muscle inserts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where would this muscle insert? So it's your calf muscle, right?
Probably near my calcaneus.
Good. So you have your heel bone. It's going to attach right there.
Okay, and so then resistance is tending to cause flexion. So
Resistance is,
it's coming down.
yeah. Okay.
I know this one has to do with the center of gravity, or actually resistance is heading down from the body, so wouldn't it just be like underneath the foot?
Yeah, so because your whole body is up here, and so with the center of gravity, just like you said, would be right here, right in line with all of your weight, because that's where the majority of your weight is. Like you have some weight that's over here, but the amount of weight that is your foot is not significant enough comparatively to your whole body. So this is where your resistance is. And that's what makes it the second class.
And it's still like dorsal flexors working?
So gravity is causing dorsiflexion. So the force that you are applying is plantar flexion. Okay. And that's because you have a fixed surface here. And so gravity is naturally going to cause dorsiflexion. So what you're performing is plantar flexion. Because instead of your foot going down, it's a matter of your heels coming up. So it's just the opposite, like what's moving, like what's going up and what's going down. But in order, like if I have it here, that motion is plantar flexion. So that's what I'm doing, even though I have a ground underneath me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do the one that he wanted you guys to do for probably class next time, what he ended with. So, at least this is the one he had us do. Let's see. So I have an arm, the dumbbell, and we're doing external rotation, so that would be a matter of doing this sort of deal. So it's that external rotation, so moving up. Okay, so
the axis would be the shoulder girdle.
the axis is actually quite interesting with this one. So let's first define the resistance and the force.
Okay. Do you apply the two-step process in this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, let's see. Resistance is causing my elbow to extend.
Okay, so we're looking at the shoulder though, because for this to do an external rotation, because that's what we're wanting to perform, internal and external rotation occurs in the shoulder.
Okay. So, I just have to wait. Isn't it causing depression in the shoulder?
So depression is dealing with the scapula. But with this, it's causing
Shoulder adduction. Or you want the weight by your body?
yes. It's interesting with these kind of motions though, because he'll just give you one motion, and so gravity is going to be causing the opposite of the motion you're going to perform.
So it's internal rotation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because the motion you're performing is this. So if you're up here, what is gravity going to tend to cause? It's going to cause that internal rotation.
Okay. So internal rotation, so it's your shoulder external rotators working.
Correct.
And for it to be external, it needs to be on your outer part, your lateral part.
Mm-hmm.
So it inserts at the elbow.
So what joint are we looking at again?
The shoulder.
Okay. So what muscles perform an external rotation?
Sorry, I'm not good with muscles.
That's okay. It's one of the deltoids.
It's not the middle. It's posterior.
Good. Good. So that posterior deltoid is going to insert on your arm. So if I have my arm like this, that posterior deltoid is going to insert right here on that humerus. So this is about where that force is. Where would your resistance be?
Where the right weight is.
Okay. So in this case,
But it's
you
gonna be like
have
center of gravity kind of thing, right?
exactly. So you do have this weight, which is the force, but then you also have like your body weight, so like weight of your arm and things. So the resistance is going to be slightly in, because that would be your center of gravity. So it's like that balancing out of the weight. Okay. So when it comes to the axis, because the axis is what you're rotating around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, what are you rotating around?
Your arm.
Mm-hmm. So the axis is kind of weird in how it's actually your humerus. And the axis goes all the way from one side to the other. So when it's this case, in order for you to actually move with a resistance and a force, the axis has to be somewhere within the middle between the two. So anywhere within here is your axis, which is your humerus, and that makes it a first class.
But since it's more in the middle, it'd be both for speed of or range of motion and force.
Which I don't think he would ask you a question with regards to that, just because it's kind of a unique one. He wouldn't really ask with regards to motion. Usually he wants to know that with regards to the second or third class leavers. Okay. Does that make sense though?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So let's do this one. Where we have an arm again. Okay. So in this case though, we're looking at the elbow. So we're gonna do what are they called? Dumbbell pullovers. So it's like this, and you're just raising your arm like that. Okay. That's the motion you're performing. So where would the force, the axis, and the resistance be?
So it would be extension and flexion. You're performing that, right?
Mm-hmm. So you'd be performing extension.
Okay. So it's your flex. No. It's your flexors.
Okay. So if I'm here,
Yeah.
what is resistance tending to cause?
It's causing flexion.
Okay,
So
so
it's going to be extensors.
good.
So elbow extensors. So it would be like your triceps.
Good. So we're looking at this muscle here.
So it would be on your old carrying process.
Yep. You're looking on.
I'll look around, yeah. I assume.
It's okay. I always say Olacranon because that helped me spell it when I was studying it, and so but now like everyone calls it like Olecranon. It's like I have to like rethink it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I say the ways. I say it so I remember how to spell it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I
same
know
here.
it's wrong, but that's how I know how to spell it.
Yeah.
Okay. So then rotation would be on your, okay. It would be your elbow as the axis.
Good. So it'd be about right here. Because when you're looking at your axis, it has to be in like basically the center of the joint. So it's going to be a little closer in than where your muscle attaches. How about the resistance?
Okay. So let's see. Your weight would cause more resistance there, but you still have your arm. So it would be more toward the weight, but not all the way toward the weight.
Good. So right here, we'll see. So what class system is that?
First class.
First class. Good.
Okay, so like, what would you say the resistance point is exactly? Like, is it your,
So the resistance point is
like, I see like where it is, but like when you name it, what would you call it?
like the center of gravity.
You would just say resistance point, center of gravity, not like a
Oh.
specific name. Like your radial carpal or something.
Actually, a good point. I normally just name the general area. So like I would say forearm close to wrist, closer to wrist. Because in these, I believe he don't know, because sometimes I would actually define it like where it was, like when we were doing the person on the table, like in the strap. I said the strap that's around the toes was the resistance point. But sometimes he would ask like what resistance is causing. And so like for this example, like resistance is causing elbow flexion. And so that's what I put for that like blank in the book. But if you're looking for like where it is, I would just general area.
So when it says resistance point, you either put like what is causing the resistance, like what resistance is tending to cause, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't be like, because force would be your opposite of that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, which that's just how he explained it in class, so that's what I was writing down. Which this isn't the format that he'll probably give you. He'll give you a picture, and you'll actually have to label on the picture where the resistance, force, and axis are, and then he'll ask you what class system it is. So he won't actually have like blanks of like the force application and resistance point.
Okay, well I was just wondering, because we were like naming them all up there, and then, okay, and then like the humerus, you can't be like, it's on the humerus.
Yeah.
Just like the axis is on the humerus. So
Yeah.
I was just wondering. Okay.
Okay. So those are the examples that I have. Which generally something to know is that, like the one that we were doing with the rotation, generally he told us that pretty much always if it's a rotation then it's always first class. And it's because of that longitudinal axis that you're rotating around. So they're always first class if it's a rotation.
Okay.